All right, welcome back to the experiment that I've been doing for the last 3 weeks now. And this experiment, which is how long does it take to get your website into Google's index? And I'll show you in just a second. I'll show you Google Search Console, and I'll show you how we're going about doing that. So first, let me just share my screen here with you. All right, so the first thing I wanted to do, here's our agenda. Okay, this is the experiment, as I was saying. We're just gonna keep going. I'm gonna touch on the Pillar blog network in just a second. But again, just to reiterate, this experiment started on March 26th, which was 3 weeks ago. The question is, how long does it take to get the site indexed into Google? And then as we start working our way through developing the content without doing any link building, we're going to show you sort of how Google is operating on this, what kind of visitation we're getting, and all of that. So the status, we're going to look at week to week, and again, generally what you should do when and if you are talking about SEO, whether it's internally with your team, or if you are an SEO professional, if you're talking to a client, you don't want to micromanage your SEO work. The only reason I'm doing this is this is really just for experimentation purposes and just learning as we go along. But I would never have an SEO client that I would necessarily meet with them week to week, showing them the incremental gains we're getting from one page to the next. That's best used in a monthly executive report that you share and show month over month the progress. And then you can do year over year progress, or quarter over quarter, but a longer period of time where you can actually see the change and the growth that you're going to get over time. Because we know with SEO, it takes a while, okay? But in this experiment, we're looking at it more into the weeds of things, because this is the Expert SEO Masterclass channel, and this is where we're learning and testing and growing over time. So that is why in this quarter 2 of 2023, we're running this experiment together so that we can learn and grow from here. So we want to check the Google Search Console, look at analytics, look at SEMrush, and then I'm going to talk about the Pillar blog network effect. What is a pillar post? What I'm actually building next, and then you're going to see that. So back again, once again, this is the website. Again, remember last week when I told you I changed the template out, I updated a lot of different things within the site, and this again will be changed because I've got a new YouTube channel that I'm going to be posting content very specifically for the staffing industry there. So kind of made some updates, got an FAQ with the FAQ schema built in place, and then a call to action. So that's kind of what I did for this page. Of course, the marketing guide. So this is and put a pin in this one, but we'll be getting back to what is a pillar piece of content. I'm going to be referencing specifically this piece again. This is our pillar piece. It lives within the navigation and lives on its own. It's the inbound marketing guide for staffing agencies. The Knowledge Center, I still have some work to do here, but obviously this is going to be where the blog is, where we're going to be developing out all of the other pieces of content. Then eventually, as we launch the podcast, it will be launched on June 2nd, in just a couple of months from now, we're going to be launching a podcast very specifically geared to the staffing industry, inbound marketing best practices. And the video section will all be videos from the YouTube channel. So that's what the makeup of this website is going to look like. So it doesn't have a ton of navigation, but it's going to have the necessary components for a properly well-optimized website. So next, let's get back to Google Search Console. All right, so overview. Once again, performance, of course, we're going to see nothing here. But what is important is, because we're seeing that we did launch on the 26th of March, we're looking at the indexation. So I go down to specifically, oh, first let me go to the performance because I want to kind of show, I think it's important to show that. So again, obviously, within the last, I mean, I could put 28 days. It's obviously less than that. But the important thing is to really kind of notice this. This is where we launched the website. This is where we're starting to see some interest. Look, you can see here, and this is the wild fluctuations of how the Google algorithm works, especially with a brand new site. And remember, staff is a subdomain of my main domain, but Google doesn't see it as part of the main domain. It sees it as a separate website, which it is. It's living on a subdomain. So there's the first glimpse of it's in Google's index and it's ranking somewhere somehow. Then next we see on April 2nd, there's one, it's in position 1 and it's impression 1, and then it's kind of like out. And you see these wild fluctuations. Then it goes to position 4. And now it's dropping to position 45. And then 52. See, you can see now back up to 4. See how it's very wild. There's not a ton of pages in the site, but you can kind of see how those positions are fluctuating. This is all completely normal, okay? And now, since April 12th, we're up to position 95. So this is all, as I said, this is normal. What we're going to get to as we build content in and internally link the certain pages, then we'll see some consistency where many of these pages will be hanging out in, ranking out on 30 or 40 something, and then they'll slowly move into second page, and then, and remember, because of the continuous scroll, there really is no second page or first page, second page, third page any longer. But you understand what I'm saying when I reference first page, second page. I'm talking about the actual ranking positions. Now, one of the queries, the search queries specifically, that we're starting to see is SEO for staffing agencies and inbound marketing for staffing. And again, here's those positions. Obviously, we've got a few impressions. And as we build more content in, and you're going to start seeing more other keywords ranking, the different impression share will go up. The rankings will also be up, and what I mean by that is higher up, 80s, 90s, and then we'll start seeing those where the clicks will start generating as we start optimizing, getting these pages closer to the top 10. So that's ultimately what we're trying to work on here. So when we look at the pages, there are a number of pages in the site, but you can only see when we go to indexation. So there's 47, you can see here. But when we look at one of those pages, because I don't have 47 pages, this is the website, there's not 47 pages here, but I don't know if you remember from last week, I mentioned there are a lot of, when you get a template, you install a template, like Elementor, I put in a kit, which had all these other pages here. This one, for example, I did cut a lot of them, but there's still some other blog posts or pages or things that I need to just eliminate or no index and get them out so that it's a little bit cleaner and not looking like this, because we know there's not 47 pages. But when we're looking at specifically, these are all pages in Google's index. The Get Started is a newer page I created. There is marketing guide is here. So the last crawl was April 1st, which was 13 days ago. So you can see even the time it takes for Googlebot to come back and crawl the website is delayed. As the site grows over time, as it becomes more popular, Googlebot will come back and recrawl more frequently than that. Okay? Sitemaps, last week we had a problem. I've since corrected the problem. I have resubmitted my sitemap. I've got a page 1 in here, and then just this is an index with pages, posts, videos, all of them. So there's no problem here. It's discovering all those pages, so it's able to see everything in the sitemap successfully with no problem. So that's that. I also started doing some SEMrush tracking. So far I got 4 keywords I'm tracking, but as I go through and build out content, I'm going to be updating this as well so that we can sort of start to see what that actually looks like. You can see here staffing agency SEO, position 44, inbound marketing for staffing agencies 80, inbound SEO marketing I'm not ranking for yet, and staffing for SEO. So this is so far, these are just the 4. I'll expand and grow this out so you can kind of see what that actually looks like over time. But I'll be playing around with a lot of SEMrush and just kind of showing you how things are working, how we're performing, and eventually I'll get into more of the specifics at the page level, etc. But for right now, I just want to show you level set, kind of where we are with these things. So now I want to get to the Pillar Blog Network, because that's what's going to make up the majority of the content within this website. So let me just give you a little view. So I kind of mapped it out here for you so you can see Pillar is that big piece. That was the inbound marketing guide. That is the big piece of content. There's roughly 3,600 words in that blog post. The way that it was structured was I have a pretty heavy topic that I'm talking about, inbound marketing, as a broad topic. And then I get into specifics where I'm talking about SEO, email marketing, paid search. So I get into those other, what I'm using as H2s, so those subtopics, and I'm building it out. So that guide, and if you want to go back, it's staff.markwithbartoliconsulting.com, and then you'll see the inbound marketing guide so that you can actually see what that looks like. I won't rip it apart right here for you, but I just wanted to explain to you that is my pillar piece, okay? It's got at least 3,000 words, 15 to 20 keywords. And again, do not get into keyword density. That is really a 1999 kind of a phrase. Nobody should be talking about keyword density anymore. Even the SEO tools, I know that it's in Yoast, and it might even be in Rank Math, I think. I can't remember now. Just ignore it. It means absolutely nothing, okay? Keyword density is something from the past. What matters is the variation of the keywords or the terms based on the topics that you're talking about. How can you talk about them in a variety of ways that people are actually searching for and looking for them? So when I'm mentioning make sure that you have 15 to 20 keywords in there, it's more of a direction to make sure that you have topics, subheadings that are relevant to the topic that you're talking about. So in that pillar situation, we're talking about inbound marketing. What are the subtopics of inbound marketing? And there's a number of them: email marketing, paid search, SEO, etc., right? So that's how you construct that pillar piece. The next thing, you have these 3 what are called sub-pillars. They are pieces of the pillar. So that's what I'm going to be working on over the next week, is developing this whole pillar strategy out. So you got these 3 pieces of content. They will live actually in my knowledge center. My knowledge center is actually my blog. So those 3 pieces will be living there. And they will have at least 2,000 words, and they will be subtopics that are directly related to the pillar, and they will be connected. So I have the black arrows are connecting up into the pillar. Those are the links that we're linking up into the pillar. They've got 10 to 15 keywords approximately. And again, this is pretty simple because if you're writing 2,000 words, you should have no problem incorporating 10 to 15 variations of keywords in each of those. And then the next and the last is a supporting blog post, and I didn't add it here, but simply enough, and actually could put it here for you just to show you. Supporting blog post, that's at least 750 words and roughly like 8 to 10 keywords, okay? And those will link up into the sub-pillars. So I've got, you can see there's 15. So there's 3, 6, 9, 12 supporting blog posts here. The 12 supporting blog posts all have their own jobs, okay? So supporting blog posts 1, 2, and 3 in this group are related to the piece of content that is in subpillar 1. Those each link up into subpillar 1. Now you can interlink, again, where it's relevant, always considering relevancy, and if it's beneficial to your reader and it makes sense, then you can interlink across your blog posts here or even over here. But again, relevance, making sure that you consider the reader first and the search engine second with whatever we're trying to do. All of this is geared to, yes, we're running an experiment to see how well these pages will perform in Google search, but ultimately I'm trying to attract a specific targeted business type or individual within a business, and that is what is going to get them in this network of content, okay? So you've got these three, 4, 5, and 6 into pillar 2, subpillar 2 topic. These are all relevant headings, subtopics of what's in there. And then you have subpillar 3, 7, 8, 9 linking into subpillar 3. And then finally you have 10, 11, and 12. And those 3 will link directly into the pillar. So these are going to be all in the supporting blog posts. These are very sort of long tail questions that are related to some of these other bigger pieces of content. That's what we're building here. As I said, this one's already done. It's indexed. Now the publishing schedule, and I referenced the book last week that I had referenced, and I referenced Pillar-Based Marketing. Great book, and if you get that, it'll help you sort of understand the methodology, the framework, and then how each piece should be constructed. I gave you sort of very high level about what these pieces of these pieces of content should be size-wise, and what they should contain for the most part. But if you really want to go in depth and more of it, then I highly recommend that book. In there, they also talk about the publishing schedule, which is interesting. In most cases, certainly in my professional career, if I had a situation in which I had all of this content, the way that I would work with the development team or my client would be, let's just publish one piece a week, because we want to sort of or every other week or whatever, just to kind of spread it out and kind of in piecemeal. Well, in order for this, according to Ryan Brock, who wrote the book, according to Ryan, he mentions in all of their experience, they don't publish it all at once. That it performs much better when it is published in this way, in a network style. So Pillar gets published first. Once that's indexed, and I didn't do that yet, but I'm going to be doing this for all subsequent other pieces of content. That gets published. Then you go to Google Search Console, you're noticing it is in the index. At that point, then you publish subpillar 1, 2, and 3. So obviously all of your content has to be completed first. All of your content needs to be active linked up into these other pieces of content. You can't do that after the fact. This all has to be done at the outset. You load it all up into your WordPress or whatever your content management system is, but you don't publish it all. You publish the pillar first, get that index, then you publish pillar 1, 2, and 3. Wait for those to get indexed. Then you're publishing your blog posts. And again, these are all linked to these other pieces. So it's easier to publish in the reverse, where you're starting here and you're working way down this way. Okay, so that's the Pillar Blog Network, and this is the experiment that we're going to be doing over the next number of weeks. And I'm hoping that you're enjoying this. Again, if you have any questions at all, drop them below. This is the Expert SEO Masterclass channel, and we're talking all things SEO. I'm Janet Bartoli with the Bartoli Consulting Group, and again, if you got any questions, I'm here to answer them. Thanks for watching.